We often imagine medieval monks as humble figures, cloistered away in prayer and contemplation, detached from the world's ambitions. But what if their quiet devotion masked a profound strategic power? What if, from behind thick stone walls, certain monks didn't just record history, but meticulously rewrote it, pulled the strings of kings and shaped the very soul of nations? Did you know one medieval monk helped craft a single forged document that legitimized papal rule for 700 years? This is the untold story of the monks who manipulated history. Our journey into this hidden influence begins with one of the greatest deceptions in Western history, the donation of Constantine. Imagine a document purportedly penned in the 4th century by Emperor Constantine himself, granting immense secular power to the Pope. It claimed Constantine had given Pope Sylvester the supreme authority over Rome, Italy, and indeed all of the Western Roman Empire. For centuries, this astonishing charter was presented as irrefutable proof of the papacy's right to rule not just spiritually, but politically and militarily. From outright forgery, we turn to a more subtle yet equally profound manipulation, the shaping of belief through stone and light. Enter Abbot Suger of Saint Denis, a 12th century Benedictine monk and advisor to King Louis VI and VII. Suger was more than an abbot. He was an architect of revolution, literally redefining how humanity conceived of the divine. Suger spearheaded the radical redesign of his abbey church, transforming it from heavy Romanesque into a new style, Gothic. His vision was to create heaven on earth, a physical manifestation of divine light and beauty. He believed that the ethereal luminosity pouring through vast stained glass windows would elevate the worshipper, guiding their soul towards God through aesthetic experience. This wasn't just about aesthetics. Suger consciously linked his architectural innovations to the very concept of divine kingship in France. He presented Saint Denis as the spiritual heart of the monarchy, bolstering the king's authority through a divinely inspired setting. Quietly, subliminally, this monastic mind shaped not only art and architecture across Europe, but profoundly influenced how entire generations perceived spirituality, power, and their own relationship to the sacred through the very spaces they inhabited. Beyond the visible manipulation of power and art lay an even deeper, more esoteric influence. Certain monastic orders became quietly obsessed with ancient, almost mythical knowledge, particularly centered around the Temple of Solomon. The Cistercians, often seen as austere reformers, and later their monastic offshoot, the Knights Templar, shared a profound, almost mystical fascination with this legendary structure. This obsession was far from casual. It led to an exploration of numerology, sacred geometry, and hidden rituals believed to hold the very wisdom of Solomon. Certain monks within these orders claimed to possess this mystical knowledge passed down through obscure texts or secret oral traditions. These profound, often covert ideas influenced the very construction of the great Gothic cathedrals, their dimensions, their symbolism, their light, encoding a hidden knowledge within the very fabric of Christendom. The Templars themselves, perhaps guided by Cistercian insights, even conducted archaeological excavations on the Temple Mount, allegedly seeking lost artifacts or wisdom. The full extent of this Solomonic influence remains shrouded in mystery, but it speaks to a deliberate intellectual manipulation of belief systems from within monastic cloister walls. The subtle threads of monastic influence extended directly into the highest echelons of power. Monks served not just as spiritual guides, but as royal confessors, knowing the deepest sins and secrets of kings and queens. What immense leverage could be gained from such intimacy? As advisors, they influenced who was crowned, who was excommunicated, and who was sent to war. Their counsel, ostensibly spiritual, often had profound political consequences. Perhaps no single monk embodies this profound manipulation of history more powerfully than Bernard of Clairvaux. A Cistercian abbot, Bernard was a towering figure of the 12th century, revered as a prophet and feared by kings. His intellect was sharp, his piety fierce, but his ambition for the church was boundless. Bernard almost single-handedly launched the Second Crusade. With his fiery sermons delivered across France and Germany, he stirred masses of commoners and kings alike to take up the cross, sending armies to their destruction in the Holy Land. His words, cloaked in divine authority, had the power to move nations. He was also a staunch supporter and champion of the nascent Knights Templar, helping to shape their very rule and legitimize their controversial existence as warrior monks. Through Bernard, their monastic dedication gained formidable theological backing. He was a force of nature, wielding not a sword, but words that shaped armies, influenced popes, and truly bent the course of medieval history to his will. Monasteries, in their quietude, gave us art, preserved knowledge, and guided countless souls to spiritual enlightenment. But they also housed minds capable of profound ambition, strategic foresight, and audacious manipulation. Behind the prayers, behind the solemn silence, and beneath the image of humble devotion were the hidden weavers of history. This was the untold story of medieval monks, not a fantasy, not a legend, but the deliberate, unseen hand that shaped the very fabric of our past.